Psalm 29 echoes with a power that reverberates through the ages, a testament to the majesty and might of our Creator. It speaks of a voice that commands the very fabric of creation, a voice that speaks with the thunder and dances with the lightning. This is not the gentle whisper of a summer breeze, but the awe-inspiring roar of a mighty storm. It is a voice that demands attention, a voice that evokes fear and trembling, a voice that reminds us of the awesome power of the one who spoke the universe into being. The psalmist doesn't describe a God who is distant or detached, but one who is intimately involved in the world he created. His voice is not silent, it is active, powerful, and ever-present. Through vivid imagery and powerful metaphors, Psalm 29 paints a breathtaking picture of God's awe-inspiring power and invites us to join the chorus of creation in praising his glorious name. Imagine the untamed fury of a raging storm at sea. Waves like towering mountains crash upon the shore, their roar echoing the voice of God. The psalmist uses this image to convey the overwhelming power of God's voice. Just as the sea obeys the commands of its creator, rising and falling at his will, so too does all of creation bow before his mighty power. The churning waves, the crashing thunder, the flashing lightning, all serve as instruments in the symphony of his creation. The vastness of the ocean, its unpredictable nature, and its raw power serve as a powerful reminder of the might of the one who holds it all in his hands. In the presence of such power, we are humbled, reminded of our own smallness in the grand scheme of creation. Yet even in the midst of the storm there is beauty, a raw and untamed beauty that speaks of the creative genius of our God. He is the master artist, painting across the canvas of the sky with strokes of lightning and composing symphonies with the roar of the waves. From the depths of the sea, our gaze is drawn upward to towering mountains, their peaks shrouded in mist and clouds. These majestic giants, symbols of strength and permanence, tremble before the Lord. The psalmist describes how the mountains skip like calves, a vivid image that conveys the overwhelming power of God's presence. Even the most solid and enduring elements of nature cannot withstand the force of his voice. Forests, teeming with life, bow in reverence, their leaves rustling in the wind created by his passing. The wilderness, a place of untamed beauty and raw power, trembles before the Lord of all creation. These images from nature serve as a powerful reminder that all of creation, from the smallest blade of grass to the tallest mountain, is subject to the Creator's power. We are reminded that we are not the masters of this world, but stewards entrusted with its care. The psalmist doesn't stop at mountains and seas. He speaks of mighty cedars, symbols of strength and resilience, being splintered by the voice of God. Imagine the strength it would take to shatter a cedar tree, its roots sunk deep into the earth. The very wilderness, a symbol of untamed chaos, trembles before the Lord. This imagery conveys the sheer power of God's voice, a power that can shake not just the physical world, but also the spiritual realm. This is not a destructive force, but a transformative one, a force that clears away the old to make way for the new. Just as a forest fire can clear out deadwood and make way for new growth, so too can the power of God bring about positive change in our lives. The imagery of Psalm 29 reminds us that we serve a God who is capable of anything, a God who can move mountains and calm storms, a God who can bring order out of chaos and life out of death. Section 5. A chorus of praise angels join the anthem. The psalmist invites us to shift our focus from the awe-inspiring power of God to the response it evokes. We are not the only ones who recognize and tremble before this divine might. The angelic hosts, those beings of pure light and power, gather around the throne of God, their voices raised in a chorus of praise. They cry out, "Glory," acknowledging the splendor and majesty of the Lord. This heavenly chorus serves as a reminder that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. We are part of a grand cosmic drama, a symphony of praise that has been echoing throughout creation since the beginning of time. We are invited to add our voices to this chorus, to join with all of creation in declaring the glory and majesty of our Creator. Our voices may be small, but when united with the voices of angels and the thunder of the heavens, they create a symphony that echoes throughout eternity. Section 6. Holiness and Glory, Attributes of the Divine. Psalm 29 doesn't just depict God's raw power, it emphasizes His holiness and glory. These qualities are inseparable from His might. They are not separate attributes, but intertwined aspects of His divine nature. Holiness, in essence, is being set apart, distinct and different. God's holiness is not just His purity, but His complete otherness, His transcendence beyond human comprehension. This holiness is both beautiful and awe-inspiring, demanding reverence and respect. Glory, on the other hand, speaks of God's inherent magnificence, His splendor and majesty. It's the outward manifestation of His inner perfection, radiating outward like light from the sun. His glory is not for His sake, but for ours, a glimpse into the heart of the divine. Recognizing God's holiness and glory is essential to understanding His power. It's not simply brute force, but power wielded with perfect wisdom, justice and love. It's a power that created the universe and orchestrated redemption, a power that sustains us and calls us to Himself. Section 7. The Lord Reigns, a Legacy of Power. The resounding declaration of Psalm 29 is the unwavering truth: the Lord reigns. This isn't a temporary rule or a fleeting moment of authority, but an eternal reign, a kingship that has no beginning and no end. This reign is established not through force or coercion, but through the power of His word, the same voice that shook the cedars and stirred the seas. It's a reign built on righteousness, justice, and unwavering faithfulness. The psalmist reminds us that even in the midst of life's storms, when the world seems chaotic and uncertain, our God reigns. He is in control, orchestrating events according to His perfect will and working all things together for the good of those who love Him. This knowledge should bring us immense comfort and unshakable peace. We are not at the mercy of random chance or fickle fate, but are held securely in the hands of the one who holds the universe together. Section 8. Finding strength in the storm, a shelter for His people. Knowing that God reigns doesn't exempt us from facing storms in our own lives. We all encounter trials and moments when the weight of the world feels overwhelming. But Psalm 29 offers a powerful message of hope and encouragement. The God who commands the winds and the waves is the same God who promises to be our strength and our shield. He offers Himself as a refuge, a fortress, a very present help in times of trouble. When we face challenges, we can draw strength from the knowledge of God's power. He is bigger than any storm we face, more powerful than any enemy we encounter. He is our defender, our protector, our ever-present help. The key is to fix our eyes on Him, not on the storm raging around us. Just as Peter walked on water, as long as he kept his eyes fixed on Jesus, so too can we walk through life's storms with confidence, as long as our focus remains on the Lord. Section 9. The gift of peace, rest in His embrace. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, Psalm 29 offers a precious gift, the gift of peace. This isn't a superficial peace that depends on external circumstances, but a deep, abiding peace that comes from knowing the heart of God. The God who silences the storm and calms the raging sea is the same God who offers peace to our troubled hearts. He whispers words of comfort to our souls, assuring us that He is in control, that He loves us and that He will never leave us nor forsake us. This peace surpasses all understanding, guarding our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. It's a peace that allows us to rest in His presence, to find solace in His embrace, and to face the future with confidence, knowing that He is walking beside us every step of the way. As we surrender our anxieties and fears to Him, we open ourselves up to experience the fullness of His peace, a peace that transcends all circumstances and anchors our souls in His unwavering love. Section 10, Our Eternal King, a Promise of Hope. Psalm 29 ends with a powerful declaration, "May the Lord bless His people with peace." This isn't just a hopeful wish, but a prophetic promise, an assurance that our God, the Eternal King, will indeed bless His people with the gift of His peace. This promise isn't limited to a select few, but extends to all who call upon the name of the Lord, to all who have placed their trust in His saving grace. It's a promise that transcends time and space, reaching into eternity. As we reflect on the majesty and power of God as depicted in Psalm 29, let us be filled with awe and wonder. Let us bow in humble adoration before our Creator, acknowledging His holiness, His glory, and His unwavering faithfulness. And let us cling to the promise of His peace, knowing that even in the midst of life's storms, our eternal King reigns supreme, and He will never let us go.